getting connected. Let's start this one. So we should be connected on YouTube. All right. We're having some bitrate problems. Let's hope that'll be okay. Connected on... Okay. I think that's working on YouTube. Are we connecting on Twitch? Let's see. I do not see my preview coming in. Let's see. Not sure. Alright, I think we are streaming on SudokuCon. How are we doing with restream? 30 FPS. Alright. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on these. Do we have chat? Alright, I think that's the stream chat here. Might have to bring this out somewhere somehow. Don't know how I can do that. Ah, wait, can I pop this out? What about chat? Alright. Ay, ay, ay. This is gonna be a bit of a juggle. Did that get through? Got through here, came through here. Fair enough. Alright, welcome to Code Hangout number 122, where today I'm going to work more on the SudokuPad CloneView, which is a way of remotely broadcasting and viewing puzzle games in SudokuPad. And there's a couple of major things I need to add, but a lot of it is also about just making it more reliable and making it work better. And I've done some connection reliability, and that actually seems to be working pretty well. I think we're gonna have trouble with the bitrate, I'm afraid. 170 kilobits per second. That is indeed less than 4,500. Although, I think that might be better now. Maybe we are okay now. Alright. Okie dokie. I'm gonna monitor the chat from here, perhaps. And see how that goes. Why is that pinging? I don't like little red glowy dots. Why is it giving me a little red glowy dot that is animated? And it doesn't propagate into the menu where it is pinging on. Alright, never mind. Let's hope this is all okay. Okay, so this is my current sort of local test version of it. So the upper view here replicates what I do on the lower view here. So as I have a kind of fake cursor following around, and I can do things and I can replicate actions. It does do a crude version of replicating the current state of the board. So if we're connecting a second viewer like this, it should get an update on the state of the board. And if we disconnect from here, I think when we reconnect, so for example, I can't even simulate that, but I think it re-replicates the state from here rather than, like, it doesn't have server-side state, which is a problem, right? So that's a couple of things we want to look at. The other thing I want to look into is to run different puzzles through this. Because this is basically a feature I want to use in the SudokuCon fundraising livestream, which is a 24-hour livestream happening in about 2 weeks. And there will be a lot of different Sudoku players and streamers play lots of different puzzles. And we're kind of planning on using this to get the puzzles into the streaming software without having everybody have to stream video of puzzles around and together with their webcam stuff. But, of course, having a different URL per puzzle isn't really good, because then somebody would have to go into OBS and update the different URLs, right? And we don't want that. And on top of that, we have some speed solvers there, and you might have to update the URL every minute, right? Which isn't going to work. So, to get all this done, we obviously need to make sure we can basically send a signal from the host to change puzzle. We need to be able to forward that signal on the server. We need to be able to receive that signal on the guess. And we need to figure out exactly how all that will work. So let us see. We need to open the stream tool, which is right here. And it's going to be a bit tricky because I'm going to try to make it slightly... I usually make the text a little bit bigger for the stream. But today I might not be able to do it as big as I would normally do it because there won't be any space. All right. So step one is to figure out just a command that we can send. So I added the sync and update commands recently. So I'm just going to have a little temporary window down here where I can just put some temporary code to try something quickly. Let's have JavaScript here. So here, this is the host, right? So the framework has all the features listed on it, including the stream tool. Stream tool, right? And we can use that to just execute a send message command here. And basically we need to send a new command. So we want to send a message here. Nope, stream tool dot send message. And a command should be, I don't know, puzzle, set puzzle, change puzzle. Now, what I'm not sure is if I just want to accept full on a puzzle URL basically, or if I want to have sort of a puzzle list that gets stored on the server, and then we'll just say, hey, go to puzzle 3, you know, that kind of thing. But since we have short URLs now, maybe we'll just gonna have a set puzzle, or yeah, set puzzle, and then we'll just have puzzle ID, right? And currently I'm testing with test 01. So we're just going to see if we can switch to test 02, like that. And that'll be kind of, so doing this, and down here we have a view of what's happening on the server, and it'll say unknown command set puzzle, obviously. And then we're going to go to the server. I'm a bit loud in my own ears here. And we are going to look at where we're handling the different commands. And right now, I guess we can just send it straight through. So we're going to have set puzzle, and it's just going to get forwarded. And these are all, are these limited to a host to, I think, handle CloneView message. 1 second. I think they get forwarded to the other hosts as well. But yeah, okay, but only hosts can send these. Okay, that's exactly what we want. Great. All right. So now if I do this, it should come through here to the guest, and the guest should just say, I don't know this. All right. Now, obviously, we also need to set the puzzle on the host side, right? We need to change the puzzle. So let's do that quickly, how to change the puzzle. And I've kind of gotten a bit of practice on that recently with the endless puzzle view and related features and loading different thumbnails and so on. So let's see, handle clone view. So let's do a function here, set puzzle ID, right? And then we'll just do warn. Let's see if we have just kind of something we can cut and paste here. So we'll have that, set puzzle ID, right? And then instead of running this, we're just going to do set puzzle with the puzzle ID, and we don't care about how that gets packaged up into networking lingo. So if I do this, set puzzle, all right, it'll get in here. Now that means we also need to change the puzzle locally. So let's have a quick look at the endless puzzles feature and see how we do that over there. So, set render puzzles, yada, yada, yada. Handle init, don't actually want that here. Handle puzzle solved, handle puzzle, little app menu, puzzle show dialog. So, dialog button, handle dialog button, puzzle sets, Okay, so I think where we're rendering the sets is where we're actually set get HTML set render puzzles. Yeah, I need to redo this eventually. The language is a bit horrible. Puzzle render. But we actually care about the event handlers, right? So puzzle elements for each includes stems that you can remove. Endless puzzles continue. Get puzzle render, handle skip, handle get HTML, serve thumb. That's the thumbnail stuff. For and get puzzle get HTML. Where are the freaking event handlers? Handle skip. Puzzle render, handle. Where is literally handle change puzzle or whatever? Handle puzzle solved, handle total set. Come on. Where the hell? Alright. Add event listener. Click handle skip. Error. Okay, we're not using handle event listener. That's not great. Puzzle get puzzles. So this is setting up the basic puzzle set. No, that's for an individual puzzle. Okay. And we have... Oh, wait. We're doing it via links. Are we, though? Do we literally change the URL here? Oh, maybe that's how we're doing it, right? Excuse me. So we might actually literally be changing the URLs. Okay, that's obviously not what we want to do. But to create the thumbnails, we are internally loading different puzzles. So let's look at the thumbnail code. Loading thumbs done, wait for thumbs, refresh thumbs, create thumb. Here we go. It's got to be one of these things, right? Is puzzle loading, puzzle data, puzzle clone, load CTC puzzle, puzzle ID. So it's got to be related to this. Somewhere in here. Right. So, step one, we need to internally change the puzzle. And I think we might be able to just switcheroo the URL without actually reloading the page. That's kind of what I'm hoping we'll be able to do. All right. We want something out of the framework. We want the app and probably puzzle inside the app. All right. So we'll probably want to do this first. And do I want to resolve the puzzle ID locally already? Yes, I do. So we probably want to run that through parse puzzle data. So it'll be this guy here. I think that's all we probably need. And or fetch. I don't know if parse puzzle data fetches as well if we need it. So I'm gonna just look at the code quickly. Parse puzzle data, does that do a fetch? Parse unknown. Get puzzle format info FPF plus. Get puzzle format info. What the heck? Oh yeah, okay, because we're supporting now the pack format. Oh, I forgot about all that. All right, I think we probably want to do fetch first as well. So we have parse puzzle data and we'll have fetch puzzle. And this probably needs to be an async function then. Right. So we'll just want to do puzzle ID equals await fetch puzzle ID. And then we'll probably output this as well. So this should go from a short ID to a long ID. Yeah, we don't need to parse it actually. So I just want... Oh, wait, no, I need to refresh. If I do this... Okay. I do think I need to do this, right? Before I... Because the loading stuff doesn't understand the short IDs, yes. All right, so we'll do this. Then we'll set it up to false here. We don't need to parse the data. That's fine. And then I basically just load it up. We don't need to clone the data because this is all we got. Puzzle. We're just gonna do const parsed puzzle ID. Right. I think I'm just gonna do it this way, not actually stick it up here. And then we'll do this. And load CTC puzzle. Is that the right one? I'm not actually sure if load CTC puzzle is the one we want to call. That's the wrong file. Or if we want to load convert puzzle load CTC. Because there's load remote. Ah, that does the fetch. I guess we can literally just do this one and then we can skip the fetch. It'll do the same thing. So if we don't want to do that, we could just do this. Like that. So if I do this, refresh here. So we're currently on this puzzle, right? That's test 01. And if I do this, it just blows up. Okay, that's interesting. Where does it blow up? It obviously does not parse the data correctly. So let's have a quick look here. Load CTC puzzle. To reload this and run this again. So we are now hitting load remote puzzle. It runs through fetch puzzle here. Comes back with the fpuz data. And doesn't handle fpuz data here? No, it does not. Why not? So when I was doing the thumbnail loading here, I do run it through parse puzzle data. Huh. Okay. So this function really, I should get rid of it altogether. Okay, so we basically want to do this. So fetch puzzle, and the other thing is parse puzzle data does not automatically. My nose is itching. Parse puzzle data does not automatically fetch, and fetch does not automatically parse. Okay, so we kind of want to do await parse puzzle data. And then we're just gonna call that CTC puzzle. I think we can just do that. And then we'll just do load CTC puzzle. And is there a load puzzle? Load CTC puzzle, load remote puzzle. If I do framework.app.load puzzle, there is a load puzzle. Load puzzle. Ah, that's okay. So that's even further in. That's like the internal stuff. All right. Well, let's try this one then. I think I need to make this one a bit smaller, this one a bit bigger. If I do this, okay, so it switched here. So that worked. It didn't update the URL. We'll see if that's necessary. It does update the thing. So let's put some digits in here and see if it also loads the state of the puzzle correctly. So if I do this, now reload, it should go back to here. And if I do this, it should load the state. Okay, that's a good start. There might be some issues internally. We'll see. I've never really done that with reloading. I've done it for thumbnails, but I've never kept the puzzle state like that. The other thing is how to update the URL. So I want to take a look at document.location because that is a location object, not a URL object, right? So if I do document.location, if I say new URL, does that work? That gets us a URL object, right? So if I take this, so if I say new URL document.location, so I can say let URL is this. Let's put that up here. Then we want, nope, want that. We want that. And then in theory, I should be able to replace path name with, so if I do url.href, and then url.pathname equals slash it'll be just slash puzzle ID, really. And then if I output it again after that, will that URL be good? I'm not sure. By good, I mean, will it have the right... Oh, no, that's not the... Nope. That. So this is going to be a bit hard to see because of all the wrapping. So this gets changed from this. Let's look at this. So it starts out as this, and then it gets changed to this. All right, so that's changed, but everything else is the same. So that looks good. Okay. Now, can I update the URL without... So, JavaScript change URL without refresh. Now, I know I can do it. I just want to make sure it'll set everything. This reloads. So it's history push state, right? So if I do this, console.log update URL, url.href. So I should be able to just stick that in here like that. Probably don't need these. And we can basically leave that till the end. Puzzle ID shouldn't get changed or anything like that. All right, reload it, run it. And now if I refresh, we are here. And if I go here, back doesn't work. Why is, okay. Back does not work. By the way, I might be missing certain chats, but still, if there's anything wrong with the audio or whatnot, just let me know. I'll try to bounce around the different streams and chat rooms and whatnot from time to time, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. Because I'm kind of trying to monitor my Twitch chat. There's the SudokuCon channel. There's the YouTube channel. So many things. All right, that seems to be... I mean, everything seems to be running. I guess there's just no people that aren't busy probably watching Zetamath. Can't blame you. All right. So that updates the URL. So that's the local stuff. Oh, yes. And I wanted to check. So push state back button. Because it does seem to disable the back button. So I want push state, but I want the back button to work. So we have push state on the history object, right? State. So in browser session. This method is asynchronous pop state event to order to determine that the navigation is completed. Okay. Some browsers save state, yada yada yada. All right. State. Serialized return value description. In a sense, push state is similar to setting in that both will also create activate another history enter. So it has a few advantages. The URL can be any URL in the same origin as the current URL. In contrast, setting window location keeps you at the same location only if you modify only the hash. It's optional. In contrast, setting when location.foo only creates a new history entry if the current hash isn't foo. All right. Yeah. Okay. Even if the new URL differs from the old URL only in its hash. Okay. So after history push state, back button does not work. Maybe Google can't find something. Yeah, so can I get that fixed? That's not working for either. Location. Yeah, but that's... Do you have to bind pop state? Do not make a page function with back forward. You'd need to do this. Listen to on pop state and load the contents yourself, similar to what would happen on click. Oh, that's a little annoying. I think I'm gonna ignore this for now. For our purposes, it shouldn't be necessary. Famous last words, right? All right. I'm also monitoring the chat on the Discord on SudokuPad feedback. I usually hang out there while I'm streaming. Okay, so now the next step is to send a message through to the server. So after all this happened, we're going to do a send message, set puzzle with puzzle ID. Basically this. And then on the receiving end, we need to handle the message, right? I'm tempted to just trigger message on these and just not run this code at all. So far, it's not doing anything. And then over here, under start CloneView, I believe, I can have case set puzzle. Right? Console.warn set puzzle message. And just see if that happens. We'll refresh the guest. We refresh the host. And we run set puzzle. Boom. So that comes through as set puzzle here. Now, obviously, on the in this case, we need to verify that we're not already on this puzzle, right? And I think get puzzle ID should let us confirm this. So const current puzzle E equals puzzle ID. And I'm starting to think these little bits here should be separate handlers, not all stuffed into here. Updates and message sync. I mean, some of them are short, some of them are a little longer. For example, I don't know if any of this references anything outside. It just needs those little helper functions here. Element. Well, what we can do is we can do little sub-functions here, right? So we can do something like const handle MSG pointer MSG that, and then we'll just stick all of this in here. Oop. Oop. And then we'll just do return and MSG pointer MSG. Right? So if I do this, refresh both of these, and wiggle the mouse cursor here, except now I'm on the wrong puzzle. All right, I'm on the right puzzle. So that's the other thing. Does that switch us to a different puzzle server? Ugh. That's a little tricky and dangerous. Maybe we don't want to change the URL, actually. Yeah. Maybe we don't change the URL for now. because we might actually need to stay on the URL and use the URL as kind of our identifier for the network session. Okay. Do I want to pull them all out? Yeah, let's put them all out. Pull them all out just as for clarity's sake. So act goes in here. Like that. Turn handle message, act message. And then handle message. Update. Don't know why that had an extra thing there. Oh. Date, handle message, date. Handle message, sync. Put this in here. All right. Sync, handle message, sync. Yep. And final set puzzle, handle message, set puzzle. And I think I'm not going to capitalize in the middle there. I think this should always be one words. In the future, I might be able to automate that. Goes in here. Message set puzzle. And set puzzle. Like that. Okay. So I do this and this, and then execute set puzzle. This shouldn't change. This should get the message and have it available in here. Okay. So next step now is, and now I can collapse these, have a little bit of space here. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Just stop CloneView. I think I also want to const init host, and we'll basically just move that in here, and we can just do init host here, and then same for init guest. Yeah, I mean, all of this needs to be massively refactored before it's production ready, but don't have a lot of time for the stream, so hopefully I can just keep it relatively sane. Okay. And then we want to look here under this little ditty here. Minify that. Minify these. Minify these, right? All right. What's next? We need to basically do this on the client now. So I'm sorry, I'm not expressing what I'm thinking. What's going on in my brain right now is I'm thinking, do I need to remember the original puzzle I was on? Or can I just rely on the URL if I ever need to return to the OG state? And I might be able to. Because I'm also thinking that, hey, you know, this should be a generic function. You know. So I should have a p.load puzzle async function puzzle ID. And then, you know, I can decide if I want to update the URL or not. And then basically it just has this stuff or some of this stuff in here. And we just reuse the same function. So we can do, take that, put that up here, load puzzle ID. And you know what? I'm just gonna, for now, pretend this is always gonna be a short ID. So I can just do that, keep it nice and clean. Skip outputting that and doing that. And then I can just say this.load puzzle ID. Oh, that's the wrong button. Puzzle ID, load puzzle. Then that replaces all of this. And then we don't need that. And we don't need that. All right. And we probably need to do a bunch of error handling. And I don't think we need this. This was just from when we had, when we copied it over from the other function. All right. So now on the client, on the guest, sorry, we kind of should do the same. Nope, not this. We should do the same thing as this. So we should do this, and then the puzzle ID should be whatever's in the message. Let me just have a look. Did we set puzzle ID? Right. So that should be msg.puzzleid. This is gonna need so much error handling. All right, and that should synchronize the two puzzles, he says, slowly and carefully. So we're here. We're here. Wait is only... I got something confused. This.load handle message set puzzle. Okay. Async. Handle message. It's gonna just return a promise. Might as well async this as well. But since we're not using the return value, it's actually fine. It doesn't actually make a difference. And now I've got a bad token. 244. Init host equals missing an arrow. There we go. I hadn't actually run it since that change. Okay, so the cursor still works. So now if I set send puzzle, both of them change. And I can do this. And if I do set puzzle again, we're back here. Yes. All right. That's actually really cool. Sweet. So now the question will be, what kind of user interface do I create on the thing? But I was wondering, like, if I pop open a dialog or something, then it doesn't actually show on stream now because that doesn't get replicated. So because I was thinking like, oh, I can't show something on top of the puzzle. But that's no longer the case because people don't look directly at the puzzle the host is solving. 1 second. Let me just adjust the light in here. It's getting dark earlier and earlier. 1 moment. All right, I'm back. Just double checking all the chats. All right, so turn on array browsing. No, I don't want that. Okay, so I just want to test something quickly. So I'm thinking about having just like a function that sets up a dialog box, and then later on I can figure out where that data comes from. So for example, if we say, let's make our function here, dot show puzzle selector, show puzzle menu, boom, menu, function, shown. And we're just going to pass an ops object in there, right? And then in here, basically, we're just going to pop open a dialog. I don't think show dialog. Yeah, we don't actually have a dialog here yet. So it's going to be framework dot close dialog, and then framework dot show. Is it close or is it hide? Show dialog. Show dialog. Close dialog, show dialog. All right. I'm just gonna go with what I know. Now options. Options is just going to be whatever we want it to be, right? So it's just going to have a list of puzzles. Switch clone view puzzle, right? And then it's just going to be I could literally just have a bunch of buttons in here. Close. Don't actually need that. True. We don't need any of these. Right. And then here we're just gonna do children is ops.puzzles.map. Right. Puzzle ID. And we're just gonna return like a link. How do I want to handle this? Or do I want to have a set of buttons? I think for now I'm just gonna do this. Something like that. I'm just gonna make a list of links. Make sure that they don't do anything. Puzzle selection. Selector. You know what? Actually, we'll put we'll put an ID up here. We'll just say ID puzzle selector. We'll do that. Hey Clover, are you on this? Are you watching? Gotta check all the chats. All right, so, and then in here we're basically just gonna put the puzz IDs for now. Puzz ID. Because I'm just kind of gonna call it like this for now. So we're gonna have something like this. Show puzzle menu, right? And I'm just gonna do something like puzzles, like this. It's our options object, right? And I'm just gonna do our test 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just see how that works, basically. I'm gonna save that, refresh that, do this. All right, switch puzzle clone view. It did not. Oh yeah, because I'm just returning strings here. No, I need to return tag A. Can I not? I could just inner HTML it, right? I can do this and then dot map. No, join. Like that. I think that'll do it. Right? If I do this, there we go. And then we'll just need to give it a little bit of styling. So if I do this, a display block, and then I'll probably just want to give it some spacing and all that stuff. So margin, padding, 0.24 RAM, 1 RAM, line. Actually, we don't need padding top bottom. We'll just make line height 2 RAM, something like that. It's not a beauty contest. All right. You know, might make it bigger. I probably should make it bigger. less chance of tapping. And I think if the list is really long, I think, didn't want to say that. If the list is really long, I think it should already scroll. So if I do this, it should already scroll. And I should be able to just press all of these. Boom. Okay. Undefined reading puzzles. What happened when I clicked that link? When I clicked that link, what happened? Handle hash change. So it does activate a handle hash change. Ooh, from the puzzle pack. Oh, there is some crosstalk. Hash change. This should not kick in when we're not in a puzzle puzzle pack. Handle init. Handle parse puzzle pack. Ooh, I gotta be careful. How do I know if we're looking at a puzzle pack or not? Yeah, shoot. Let's see, wait a second. Okay. So, we're adding the puzzle pack type here. So handle parse puzzle pack. And that does all of this. Do we, at this stage, like, we don't want to do this. Okay, so I'm just thinking, like, there's two things I can do to fix this. I can either check if what we have, like, make this basically bulletproof, or basically disable all of this and wait until we're actually loading a pack. Because right now, we're not in a puzzle pack, and I don't actually know what happens if I try to look at it as if it's a puzzle pack. You know, like, if I'm clicking this, it doesn't seem to do anything. So if I go here, does this just add the hash at the end, and that's what breaks it all? If I go here, and I go view puzzle pack, you see, it doesn't actually do anything because it says this dot pack is undefined, right? So if I go here, yeah, so we probably want to do the same thing with the this dot pack is undefined check on the hash change for now. If this dot pack equals undefined, return. And I think that'll be the quickest fix to our little issue. So if I add an hash now, okay, if I do this, failed to construct, the URL contains a fragment identifier. Not allowed. Where does this come from? Like it. Let me just make sure I don't make a mess of unrelated code right now. Yeah, so that should be okay. The second issue here is in line 131 p.connect 131 URL. The URL contains a fragment identifier are not allowed in WebSocket URLs. And the URL comes from where? Location.href. Location. So location href, but we want to get rid of the final hash. So I have two choices, right? I can assemble href for my own components. So that's, don't know if it's origin plus the other stuff. That's the thing, right? Or if it's protocol plus host plus path name plus search, yada yada. Or I just find hash and remove that. So I can say, okay, let's have a quick look at this. If I do this, right? That's what the current location href is. And if I look at location.hash, which I believe here in this case is an empty string, right? I should be able to do location.href.replace regular expression. And I basically want to do new regexp, a string consisting of the hash symbol, consisting of the contents of location.hash at the end of href, and we replace that with nothing. So if I do that and then refresh here, what do I get? Href, yeah. So let's do that. Let us do that. Or, since I'm messing around with this anyways, good question. Why is the hash being an empty string an issue? If I do location.hash, here it's an empty string. Location.hash is an empty string. So if I do this equals nothing, what happens? Does this change? If I do delete, false. Because I was thinking, can I just set the hash here to the empty string, right? So if I do console.log url.href and just URL, like, why can't I just set the hash to a blank string there and have that work correctly? Like, this has a hash at the end, and the hash is empty, and up here, the hash is empty, and this doesn't have a hash at the end. How to set hash? How to remove hash on URL object. That's a little strange that we can have two objects that basically seem to have the same content, but end up with different results. Because hash always comes back as an empty string. On the history API to remove a hash. Remove hash. The hash URL you use to replace state. How to remove hash from window location to URL without page refresh. The thing is, I don't know if the hash symbol can be anywhere else. So it's so odd. Okay. And if I do this, basically the value of hash is the same. And now it doesn't have the hash. Okay. I want to try one more thing here. So if I do this, and here equals undefined instead of a blank string, does that change things? Hash equals undefined. No. If I do it just empty string, hash. What's the difference? JSON.stringify. Like, this looks identical, right? This is a bizarre behavior. So if I assign it to itself, it will change the output of href? Is that what it's telling me? Yeah, wow. Okay, that's odd. MDN URL. I recently did something to put that back into the search bar, and I don't actually want that. Fragment is not if the hash does not have a fragment, then the property contains an empty string. But fragment identifier. JavaScript script URL object hash empty string behavior. I mean, get empty hash value from URL JavaScript. Clearing URL hash. Always returns an empty string. Yeah, this is the problem. It always returns an empty string. The root of the confusion is in the user of the URL as a constructor. So original next year extended the URL class. Apply then. Things PR grouped a bunch of things into selects. Part of the URL object. You can use the URL to build a URL. And then at the end, doesn't really help me. So location is evaluates to, yeah, fine. Now execute hash in the hash and the URL becomes hash. Notice the trailing hash. Why is the hash in here? Included or excluded. How can the hash be removed from the URL without reloading the page? Part of the URL for including, yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm basically curious, is there a way of getting the hash organized correctly? So, let's see. Location events use settings for comparing documents to the original over the network. All right. I'm going down the rabbit hole. I know how to fix it. So let's just go with this fix and not worry too much the whys and whats, even though I feel like understanding this may be useful sometime in the future. So that should stop the errors and should function with or without hash. Right. And our actual fix, what we actually texted in was this. When I was clicking here, it was adding a hash to the URL. And that was what we didn't want. Okay. So now I should be able to go here. And I'm gotta be careful what I'm touching. All right, so let's see. We basically just want to handle all of these. So if I do a document.query, or can I just resolve elector? Hash dialog? No. Dot dialog? No. Sorry. Hash puzzle selector A. And that gets us all the links. Right. So I should be able to do this. Dot for each dot add event listener. This dot handle puzzle selection. All right. I think we should be able to do that. Is that enough? I do event.prevent default. I think that's enough to stop the hash from going through. Let's see. And then the rest, I think we can just look at event.target, I believe. Should be good enough. All right, do that again. Bring that out. And 2 arguments required, but only 1 present. I think click is canonical here. If I click. And if I click. All right. And do I want to you know, I'm just thinking, do I want to put this in here as data? Or am I happy to just pull it out of... I'm going to add it as data. In the future, maybe I'll change what's in here and dress it up a little bit or whatever. Especially, you know, if it's long puzzles, we might have to shorten them if it's long puzzle IDs. Okay, so that's data dash puzz ID equals, and I'll just do the same thing like that. And then here we should be able to do n.dataset.puzz ID, and that should get us the puzzle ID. Open that, click on that, puzzle ID. All right, and then whoops, and then this should, and I guess we want to close the dialog at that point. I hope these get cleaned up. Ugh. So let puzzle ID equals this. Then I'm just gonna steal this quickly. Do this. Right. So then we'll do close dialog, puzzle ID, and then it'll be this dot set puzzle. Puzzle ID. That in here. That should be everything, right? So pop up the dialog, click this, load it. Now this didn't update, and I'm not sure why. It might not be connected correctly anymore. Oh, okay. Did it get the set puzzle command maybe? What's wrong? All right, so I think after we set puzzle, we have to be careful. The sync call needs to include the last set puzzle. So we definitely need to store some state on the server then. So the server needs to kind of be at least vaguely aware what's happening, right? And what's happening gets changed with set puzzle and sync puzzle. So handle CloneView message. So these just get forwarded. I'm currently just thinking, where should I handle this? I think maybe I'll do a second switch down here. And then I'll do a case set puzzle like that. Break, right? Actually, no. Man, one of the problems is that I tried to make the server generic and have CloneView be one of its functions. And these messages are relatively generic. Because basically here we're not validating if this is the host sending the message, so I can't really do that here. While here we would be validated, so I guess I have to do it here, even though the naming of the functions is all wrong. So this is when all the messages are being forwarded. And before we do that, we actually need to... we need to do this. And then we'll need to do... So the puzzle here... get puzzle. Get puzzle. What does get puzzle draw from? Puzzles. Puzzle ID clients host. Okay, so we need to store some information with the puzzle. The other problem is puzzle here isn't really the puzzle anymore. It's the chat room. So puzzle will suddenly have a current puzzle, which may or may not change. Okay. Well, let's just do that here. Current puzzle equals message dot puzzle ID. For now, I'm just gonna do that. And then the step when we're sending the update sync stuff, which currently gets fired from here, sync, send message sync, replay. So when we're doing a set puzzle, we want the puzzle ID. But we want the puzzle ID also when we're not doing a set puzzle. So I'm wondering, basically I'm thinking if set puzzle should be a forced aspect of the whole process. So when the host connects, it should tell the server, hey, we are in this puzzle, even if that's the URL we're starting from. Basically, so we can kind of enforce what we're at, right? For now, I'm gonna do this dot current puzzle ID equals get puzzle ID. And then when we're doing set puzzle, we're going to change that equals puzzle ID set puzzle. Do we want to do that inside load puzzle? Yes, I guess we do. Boom. This is the current puzzle plus puzzle ID. And now we want to ensure. So as we're connecting for the first time, so start CloneView as the host. We are doing what? Are we not sending an initial message? No. But we know that the puzzle ID is whatever the puzzle starts out as, right? In fact, it's here. So we basically going to set current puzzle to puzzle ID. So, where was it? Current puzzle. It's gonna be the same as puzzle ID. And then the update call, we're just gonna include that information. So when we're sending the sync message, sync, it's gonna be puzzle ID this.current puzzle ID. And then handle message add, handle message sync. I'm just gonna output that so we can kind of see what that looks like. So refresh, right. So here we got a message sync and includes the puzzle ID. Okay. So then we'll do console.log this dot current puzzle. Is it current puzzle or puzzle ID? No, I'm confusing myself. What did I call it? Current puzzle ID. Because it's different on... it shouldn't be different. Let's make it the same. Current puzzle ID, client server. Let's keep them in sync. And we already have so many things called puzzle ID, which is awful. Current puzzle ID. Blah, 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 blah. This dot current puzzle ID. Right. And basically that means on the client over here, when I do this, we need to update. Load puzzle. Wait, how'd that work? Okay, the set puzzle came through. Now it's working. Because I think what happened before was that the update call, if I do this now, it doesn't break. It breaks when I get the update. Yeah, that's the problem, right? So the update call now includes the puzzle ID, and it should tell us that if the puzzle ID is different, So handle sync, this current puzzle is this. So if it's different, if msg.puzzle, if it's different, we basically want to synchronize, and msg.puzzle ID is not equal to this, then we first want to load puzzle. Now, to be able to reuse load puzzle here, the whole puzzle ID setting, no, it still works because we're actually setting it here. Okay. And this needs to be an async call. And then here we'll do await this dot load puzzle message dot puzzle ID before we load the replay. So if I do this now, refresh this, then we'll enter this, go to puzzle 4, let's say, okay, that's loaded. That's loaded. But if I now refresh this, now it's going to get a sync. And it gets the right one. Now, when did the sync come? The sync came from here. Because basically what I'm saying, what I'm thinking is that the server should basically track, it's already tracking puzzle ID, right? And it might as well track current replay. So when the sync comes through, basically just like what we're doing with set puzzle, but it's gonna be sync, right? And we're just gonna do puzzle dot current replay equals msg dot replay, because now when a new guest connects, we can just instantly update them basically. So we've got CloneView init, handle WS connection, CloneView init. So we have init guest, init host, right? So we're gonna do this. We're gonna swap that out, go to a different puzzle. Now I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna refresh here. And eventually it gets the update, right? But there's no reason why we can't forward it the last sync, basically. So basically I'm looking for init guest. So if we have an init guest here, at this point, do we have puzzle? Yes. So get puzzle hosts. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go puzzle, and then I'm gonna do puzzle init guest, and we're gonna console.log puzzle. Now I don't know how much data is gonna be in here because replays can be big, and I think this might just print it all out. So I'm gonna refresh that. Oh, and it has the WebSocket and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna do puzzle dot puzzle ID. Is that the one? Puzzle dot puzzle ID. Puzzle dot current puzzle ID. Right, and then puzzle dot current replay dot slice 050. Then we're going to scroll back to the bottom, and it crashed. Or that. Right. So choose a different puzzle. I'll refresh this guy. So init guest. So init guest here. So after init guest, we basically want to forward a sync call. So we basically want to do if and this console.log forward sync. Then we'll do we want to send a message to this particular WS. So WS send, and basically shouldn't I have a send message here? Send. Don't I have a send message? Send message. Yeah, I should be using that. Yes. This.send message ws message. So I should be using that. And the socket is ws, and the message is going to be cmd sync. And then we'll have puzzle ID, puzzle.current puzzle ID, and replay puzzle.current replay. Replay puzzle.current replay. So let's try that. So that should mean it should be a lot faster. It shouldn't wait the 2 or 3 seconds until the next update. So if I do this, you see it update immediately. And this one is also updated. And let's put these side by side for a second. Let's go to puzzle 3. So why did this one get updated and this one did not? Now, if I refresh this one, though, it'll try to go to the right puzzle and then fails. Why did it fail? Send message. Why is it doing... Why is this the current puzzle ID? Current puzzle ID. Test 02. Host. Puzzle ID. Wait. Guest send message. Init guest. Forward. Current puzzle ID. Puzzle.current puzzle ID. Puzzle ID. Test 01. But it should be test 02. Current. Why is it sending test 01 here? Something is wonky. So .log set puzzle. Oop. We want to output both of these to see how puzzle IDs change over time. Let's close this here for a sec. Don't need that. Refresh that, refresh that, refresh that. Open that, go here. That's what's happening. Now, if I refresh this, what exactly happens here? Refresh, refresh. I mean, it's definitely not... It's definitely not reliable. Oh, no, that's not what we need. It's definitely not reliable. But I guess it's only gonna get reliable by testing and then fixing, not by me guessing and predicting. All right, but it's actually really the functionality we were looking for, right? So if I go to something like this, that's the 4. If I go to 3, we got this. If I go to 2, we got that. So I can jump around different puzzles, and everything still seems to work. Now, one thing I haven't tested is what if I have a second host? So the host... Ooh, the second host can interfere. So, the host gets a message sync from here, but then where did this message sync come from? Ooh, that's a little bit, danger. Set puzzle for her. Okay, if I refresh this, right? Everything else switches to this guy's puzzle. I'm trying to get my head around exactly what's happening. It's probably a silly thing. The problem is we don't really have a good flow right now. So we don't have a really good authoritativeness of what's the state. So basically, the question is, if a host connects, should it adopt the state of the server? I'm guessing so. So I guess initially we need to the server needs to tell the client. The thing is, I really should have like state machines and stuff, and right now I'm trying to sort of a half dumb, half smart thing. Because once there's a puzzle, there's sort of state on the server kind of becomes authoritative. Like, I'm okay with both hosts being able to manipulate the state, but things desyncing like this, that's obviously a problem, right? So if I go here now, and if I change to puzzle 1, you don't get a secondary change. Because I have a worry that once this changes, that change propagates back out again, right? Now, if I change here on the other host, it also works. If I put 1s in here and 2s in here, right? And then I'll refresh one of the clients, it breaks. Why does the client break? SudokuTest 03 is the puzzle. And then it tries to load it. And it fails. Why? Why can't it just load the puzzle? I'm hoping this is not some sort of timing. I'm going to refresh this one so I can get this error state. Yeah. I wonder if it's like a timing issue. That it's basically load remote CTC puzzle. Wait. Where is all this coming from? Load puzzle test 03. Load CTC puzzle, load remote. Load remote CTC puzzle. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right at all. Current puzzle ID, load puzzle. Load CTC puzzle, load puzzle, load puzzle. I'm gonna actually update these outputs here with, and in fact, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a warn here so I get a stack trace. So I want to know what exactly is causing these. And I probably don't need to stack trace both because they always just call each other, right? Load CTC. Although load CTC puzzle here has... Why is load remote even being called here? Wait a second. I don't think I don't think I ended up using that. Don't know. If I refresh this. Is it not going to... Oh, because I think the server restarted. That's a bit problematic, I think. It's not getting the update? I'm not... Clone guest view, guest false. I'm not getting the update message. Let me output when I receive messages. Handle message. In fact, am I getting cursor? No. Why not? Like, what's happening here? Close client, handle W, init guest. Puzzle ID. Like, it looks like it's trying to send it the message. It's sending a sync call, but there's no host. So we're on test 01. We're still on test 01 here too. Yeah, that works. Now, if I change to test 03, right, that's updated. What if I do this now? Okay, now this one died. But how exactly does it die? I'm gonna need a bigger debugging window here. So what exactly happens? Message sync, right? Test 03. Why is this dot current puzzle ID? Okay, so that's this. So it ends up being different. So we're calling load puzzle. we're calling load puzzle. Now the load puzzle here. One sec. Calling load puzzle here. CTC puzzle. So maybe we need to output this here. So then load CTC puzzle gets called with this information. And then it should load here. But then load remote puzzle gets called from somewhere completely different. Handle message sync. Load replay. So we have load puzzle. One second. Handle message sync. Line 419. What was I looking at? God damn it. Load puzzle. Handle message sync 237. CTC puzzle. Load remote CTC puzzle. So that's happening after the replay. Handle message sync 237. Handle message sync 239. So 237, 239. So we have handle message sync. This function doesn't collapse how I want it to. It doesn't remember the collapse levels, which is not good. So 237 and 239. These IDs should match, right? But why is it executing load remote CTC puzzle here? That doesn't make sense. We are on this puzzle. And we did like the whole await thing. One sec. So it's trying to force load this ID. Load replay. 4091. 4091. This dot puzzle ID load remote. So I guess that doesn't match. And we established that load remote CDC puzzle doesn't actually do us any good, right? Yeah, like obviously we cannot load this. Why is the puzzle ID not being set then? Do I have to set it myself? It appears that I do. So CTC puzzle is this. Now the thing is, we have two different IDs here. And where does this come from? This is a very different puzzle from this one. I don't understand. It's almost... I feel like there's some sort of weird conflict where it's trying to load one puzzle and then the replay data for another. Let us disable all that for a sec here. Let's just disable that. Right. And then we'll output message.puzzleID. Yeah, we have the message already. I'm just going to output it again just to be super clear. And message.replay. The question is it possible for the replay data? You know what? I think what's happening is I don't update the replay data when I change the puzzle. So as I change the puzzle, I need to update the replay data, and the set puzzle command basically needs to be a sync command. And in fact, it is a sync command now. Yeah, I guess it's really the sync command now. So the sync command should have the puzzle ID included, right? So, which it already has. Sync. Puzzle ID, exactly. So when I do a set puzzle, there's actually no set. So set puzzle is the same thing as handle sync. Handle message sync. Handle message set. So set puzzle we don't need anymore. And then we don't send a set puzzle command either. we'll actually send a sync command, right? And then instead of doing a send message, we can do a send sync, right? So we can just do a p.send like that. And it's just going to be this. Then we can do a send sync. Yep. Don't need that. And instead of this, we'll just do that. Right? And then set puzzle doesn't exist anymore. Set puzzle won't exist over here either. Sync just has to handle both updates. Set puzzle. Just get rid of that. All right. And now we need to, after a puzzle gets changed, we'll just have to send a sync command. Right, so if I go here, oh, app is not defined. Okay, that's probably in the send sync thingamajig. 1 sec. Ah, wait, that's on the server. We want to grab this. We just need app.getReplay. That's it. Boom. Right. Now I'm gonna do that. Gonna do that. All right. So now that should have sent a thing, a sync command, which I'm currently ignoring. Also, we don't want to why is oh yeah, cool. The whole message replay. Yeah, we don't want to output the whole thing. That's stupid. Where is that happening? 241. Let's just nip that in the butt. 241 dot slice 0 50. All right, so now we'll do that and we'll do that. Now, in theory, you can still send like a replay for the puzzle that's not currently loaded and it'll still break. But let's ignore that for a sec. Okay, so now if I refresh here, it should just immediately resync. Boom. Boom. And then we don't actually need to send the sync command down the line. Anybody who connects just gets a sync command. And that's sync. So we don't need to handle message sync, send sync. So we have a send sync. We don't actually need to handle update anymore, or we don't need to do this in handle update anymore. Handle update is basically just like, hey, new users are connected, but we don't need to send the sync command because it's just going to do double up because the server's already taken care of that. All right, so now I'm going to do this, go here, everything gets synced, disconnect gets resynced, disconnect doesn't resync. Doesn't resync. But it doesn't switch the others around either. So the server doesn't seem to get the automatic sync command. The server should still get a sync command on connect, right? So, send message, send sync, forward sync. So this is just, yeah. So this shouldn't be just for the client, for the guest. It should be for the host too. Everybody should be synced. Only if we have data to sync. Right. That. Boom. Right. Reload, 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 reload. Switch. Go to 4. Reload. 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 So I can now modify this, refresh, and I don't get it back. That's a problem. Wait. If I refresh this, what do I get? Handle message sync. Puzzle ID. Also here, we're on a different puzzle. Candidate properties now reading 1. Was that not? I refresh this. It's not getting the ones. Even though the ones are here. So I think one of the problems is that the ones are there, but the replay data wasn't updated. Right. So the replay data only gets updated on the sync call, which we're now not calling anymore. So the replay data doesn't get updated anymore. So I don't want to update the replay data like every time something happens, because the replay data is big and we don't want to send that to the server over and over and over. So we have a couple of ways of dealing with that. Like one way would be to manage the replay data on the server. Let's write these down, right? So how to handle server sync. So one way would be send full replay with each change, or regularly. So we could do it every second, right? That's one way of doing it. So the idea would be, instead of saying I selected here, I'm just going to send 200 kilobytes of this is the replay data, right? The second step would be, instead of sending sort of arbitrary actions, we could literally send the send replay actions and manage on the server. So we basically could literally send the actions to the server in action format and attach them to the replay object on the server. And I think that might theoretically work. I'd have to review what the replay object contains. But I think if we have an array of actions and we can just add to them, right? That could work. And manage replay object on server. We could also send individual actions and keep array on server and send array to client. So instead of trying to maintain a replay object, we could just track every action that comes in from a host, and then when somebody connects, we'll just send in the list of actions, which is basically what the replay object is, right? But instead of keeping it in the replay format, we keep it in sort of just simple array list, right? But then we might as well do this. And then the other would be like a hybrid, right? Sort of hybrid. I'm gonna send track actions, but regularly reset with single replay object. So we could say, okay, every 10 seconds we send the full replay to the server, but we're also tracking the actions since then, right? And ideally, this also includes a board state object, which could, although replaying the replay data, it's usually less than a second, so it's not really a big deal. It's not like something we're gonna do very, very frequently. So let me have a quick look at the replay object itself. So right now we're just using app.getReplay, right? And the thing is, on the server, I don't really have full access to all the code, and I don't really want to port all the code to the server if I can avoid it. But we might be able to do it in a sort of dumb way. So, frame work app get replay. So that gets us the replay object as a encoded blob, right? But we can do replay dot decode. I think if I do replay dot decode, that'll get us the structured object with an action list, right? So we could at the very least have this on the server. So instead of sending the compressed version, we could send this. So let's have a quick comparison. How big is this? And please note, this is not a particularly large replay, so this is just for relative. So that's 4 kilobytes. And we'll do json.stringify.length of this. It's probably going to be fairly big. I mean, it's 1200 actions, so this could be a puzzle playthrough, right? That's 15 kilobytes. So there's definitely something to be said for the server not managing, not getting raw data, but getting the compacted data. Now, these actions, how are we forwarding, in what format are we forwarding actions to the server right now? Let's have a look at that. So right now, when I handle message act, when I do this, message.act, puzzle act, message act. So that's the receiving end. So that's like a raw action. And handle act, send message act. So we're just forwarding the actions like that. So on the puzzle server, let's just do case act break. I'm just gonna output them. Console.log act message. I'm just curious what the actual shape of these is. If I do this, then I do this, right? So it is in the actual format. Okay. So what we could do, we could basically collect actions in an array. We don't care about the cursor position; those are fine. And send them along with the last state update. Okay. Things are getting a little busy though on the server. But let's see how that works. So, puzzle. Here. We kind of do acts. It's just going to be an array. And then here we'll just do puzzle.acts.push act, right? But that also means that when a state sync happens, we wipe that out. Puzzle.acts.length equals 0. And it also means that when we're sending the sync through, we are attaching the actions, right? And of course, it means that the sync that comes, the raw sync that comes from the host, will never have actions attached because it'll always be the full action object. But the synthetic sync that we're generating on the server, that will actually have acts. Puzzle.acts. Like that. So now, when we are receiving a message, a sync message, and message sync, right? Do I want to output the whole message? I'm gonna try it. Acts. Right. So if I do this now, and let's, is that a client or a host? I think that's a client. So So I do this, right? Oh, let's crash the server. Acts.push. Puzzle.acts.push. Puzzle.acts. Didn't I? Oh, no. That doesn't make any sense. That's what I wanted. Right, refresh, refresh. Right, so we're gonna puzzle.acts.push. No. Double idiot. Where is the puzzle acts? The initial one. Here. Broadcast message. No, that's not the right place. Wait. What? Puzzle update. Wait, why am I... Broadcast update. Get puzzle. Here we go. Acts. All right. I guess we do want to forward that on the update. I need to kind of I need to step back and draw a diagram or something, I think. It's getting confusing. All right, so I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna immediately blow up. Did I not just freaking create the puzzles properly? So get puzzle creates. This is how a puzzle gets created. That's the only place a puzzle gets created, right? And I'm gonna actually do that. I'm gonna say create puzzle ID, and we're just gonna return this. We're just gonna do that. Return this, and it's gonna also be current puzzle ID. I'm gonna be replay undefined. Clients, hosts, acts. And then we're just gonna do equals this dot create puzzle ID, like that. So now it should be guaranteed that the puzzle always has an actions array. Act is not defined. Oh, okay. That's different. 155 act message.act. Okay, I was not paying attention there. All right, reload. Boom, boom, boom. Immediately blowing up here. If I refresh this one, does it give me the same error? No, it doesn't give me the same error. Okay, so where did that come from? Can read properties of no 201. These are kind of errors we obviously cannot have in the live version. 201. Current time. No, that's probably not it. 70. From board relative. And from. Oh no. 201. From board relative. Transform. Board's element style to transform match rescale 01. How is can I do properties of null reading 1 RE scale? How can we not have a scale element? Huh? Is it maybe that it kicked in before or the scale was available? Well, I guess we can bulletproof it by doing this. Okay. Now, if I do this. I'm not actually outputting what happens during the sync. No, I am. Handle message sync. Nope. CDC puzzle contact handle US open. Handle message sync. Init guest. Okay, I'm gonna have to output what's happening. So init guest if puzzle.puzzle ID and puzzle.current replay send initial sync. Yeah, we can't actually make it contingent on the current replay anymore. We always, like now, we always want to send this. Yeah, we always want to send this. Because it could have no replay and just be the puzzle ID. So we definitely always want to send that now. Oh, binary properties of being sliced. So, handle message sync. So now at least we're getting a sync here. Yeah, so the replay might not be a thing. Like that. You know what? I'm just trying to mess with that. Not worth it. That's just logging. I want to debug logging all the time. Okay. Now if I refresh this, and I shouldn't have to. Kind of part of the point is that it all should stay in sync. So that's definitely something that's still lacking. Yeah, so for example here, it did not update the selections. Okay, because I'm not handling that yet. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. So, if we have a puzzle, we load the puzzle. If we have a replay, we load the replay. And then if message.acts, we're gonna load these actions in. So, and we're gonna do the same thing that we would normally do here. Handle message act. Handle message act. If CloneView type equals host. Yes. So we kind of want to do this. If CloneView type host, puzzle of host. And then we'll do message.acts. Oop. Or const act of message.acts. We'll do that. And, you know, this is going to get optimized in the future. And that should catch everybody up. So we'll do this, this, and this. All right. And this one broke. And I think it's still the same problem, except I thought I fixed that. 203. 203. View box. So it's happening too early. I mean, I think the error shouldn't be a problem. Except it seems to be. Excuse me. So if I do this, right, select all of this, and now I'm going to refresh that. It doesn't get that selection. All right, let's be a little bit more explicit. So, so we have a handle message sync message. All right. So console.warn puzzle ID mismatch. All right, so that's a puzzle ID mismatch. Console.warn. Console.warn. Restoring replay. Message.replay. Put slice 0. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in there. Might be a long string, but fuck it. Where's the... Ah, here we go. So, I do this. And then I refresh this one. The selection doesn't get replicated, but... we didn't get... No, we got the message sync. It does this. Acts, and there's no replay. Okay. Alright, restoring replay doesn't happen. Puzzle update didn't happen. Okay, fair enough. Catching up actions. Acts. Okay. So back to doing all of this. Now if I refresh this, catching up actions, none. On the server, every time we get an action, we should be adding onto this. Ah, okay, wait. So we are somehow not connected anymore? Init clone host? True. I was hoping that my connection update. Why is this not working anymore? All right, I need to investigate how my I don't have my connection retry mechanism should work, but it doesn't seem to be. All right. Okay, so that obviously works. So top left is a live client. Top right is a stalled client. If I refresh this, it's supposedly catching up on these actions. Now, the reason we don't have an initial replay here is, okay, so the problem here is that we don't have the initial replay data here on the server. Okay, so the other thing I need to do is, if I'm connecting to the server with a host, so if I refresh this right now, it gets this catching up on actions, but it doesn't actually do that. And I wonder if the problem is that it hasn't restored its own replay yet, its local replay. If I do framework, whoops, framework.app.puzzle, puzzle.replay stack.length. So that's 1370. It's still 1370. So let's check if it looks different before and after. Right, so if I take this before and after, does it look different? And is it actually doing this? Maybe or const off is just not the right thing. If I do this, right? So I'm creating actions on the server, and I'm going to refresh this. It's got a bunch of selections here. Replay stack length 36. So it starts from 0, it gets to 36. And now it's hitting load CTC puzzle. What? Uh-oh. Am I not? Whoops. Is that the problem? Maybe hopefully that's the problem. Should be an easy fix, right? So if I do this, right? I'll do this. Then I refresh that. It doesn't do it. Shoot. It doesn't do it. Why is replay stack length is 0 here? One of the issues I think I have is that I'm kind of mixing up local replay data that's already in the browser here because I'm on the same browser as the host. So I probably need to go into incognito mode with the guest. Otherwise, the guest just has the puzzle state. Yeah. And now the problem is... Okay, now I see at least what the problem is. Basically, what the problem is that there's state on the host that isn't on the server. So when we're connecting to the server and we get an empty initial state, like we get a 0 replay thing, right? So you see there's a replay state stack now. Yeah, so there's an initial desynchronization. So the host needs to initialize. So either the host initializes the server or the server initializes the host, right? So we basically need to say, hey, here's my state. And the server might say, whatever, something, right? So we probably want to get the most recent replay state. And I think the only measure for sort of seniority on replay state I have would be the play length, right? The tricky bit is I don't want a host that connects later on to overwrite the host that stayed connected, right? Even if those hosts undid some actions. So I think one of the things I can do is to check if there are current hosts connected, right? I think I am tracking the number of hosts on the puzzle right now. So we have init guest, init host. So on the partial server, right? Init host, init guest, init host. So let's do something like this. Console.log CloneView init. And then we'll do not just hosts, but hosts and clients. Hosts and clients. Well, maybe not clients, maybe guests. Or I think clients include the hosts. Yeah, that's why. That's the difference. All right, so we want to output. Where was I? Init. What the heck am I writing? Clone view init. We have clients dot length, hosts dot length. Right. Then here we have init host, init guest, clone view init, and you know what? I'm gonna do this. Just to keep it a bit more compact. Host views, host key, host, guest. And we don't need that. We don't need that. Don't need any of that. And we don't need that. And we have that. Right. So now if I refresh here, it's gonna say CloneView init hosts 5.1. Right. Now the 1, if I go on the other host, it says also 5.1. 5.1. 5.1. 5.1. If I connect this guy, 5.2. All right. These aren't accurate. Especially since the hosts went up. The problem is actually, I don't know if it goes up before or after, right? So, hosts. Ah, okay. Because they're getting updated here. All right. Yeah. Okay. So right now, if I refresh either host, the other host is still connected. Now, if I refresh this, it's 4.0 before. And then, like, I'll do after init, right? So if I do this, we'll have init 4.0 and then 4.1. If I refresh this client, 4.1. If I refresh this guy, 4.1. Is it... If I refresh this guy... I wouldn't be surprised if the clients here aren't very accurate, right? So if I refresh the server, what happens? 1.0, 1.1, 2.1, 2.1, 3.1, 3.1, 4.1, 4.1. So 4 clients connect. So the auto reconnect seems to work at least. Okay, and if I refresh the host, it goes down to 0 and it goes up to 1. Okay, so the host should send the initial state. And if... Sorry, I'm just realizing the one thing we want to verify is that if the host disconnects and reconnects, it can continue playing. But the host already has state management on its browser, right? So we can probably rely on that. So we can say when the host connects, it should just send an initial sync. So here we should have a connect handle ws open CloneView host. So there should be an init host here. So we'll just do a console.warn init host, right? And then init guest, just to have it a little bit consistent here. And then message handle at CloneView ready. We send CloneView out afterwards. CloneView options. Send message. CloneView options. Okay. But so the CloneView options message, when does it get handled on the client side? Handle CloneView init. Okay, definitely want to log that out. I'm kind of looking at slivers of output on the edges of my screen. If there's something you would like to see better, let me know. I don't mind. If I do this, right? So this gets a CloneView init. Guess okay. Basically, I'm contemplating where and when exactly I should send a sync command. Because there's always the issue that if we're syncing from a host to the server, are we going to overwrite other hosts if our state is older, right? So we should basically accept we should only send initial syncs to hosts when they are the only hosts, right? So we have a send initial sync here. But it doesn't seem to affect this guy. So are we not... we must be handling the sync anyways, right? Handle message sync. So connect, handle, yep, handle message sync. Boom, boom, boom. Catching up actions, deselect, deselect. But we don't have... okay, so we don't have a replay state. That's why. All right, well, because we haven't sent it to the server yet. So we should, when we're initializing the host, we should just send a sync, right? So not just when we're doing set puzzle, but when we're doing init host, we'll do a this.send sync, right? When we're connecting. So if I do this, and then reading host, read properties of undefined reading host color. What the heck? Handle WS connection. So how the hell is that suddenly failing? 52. Huh? Map host data 45. 45. Map host data. Map host data. The heck? Puzzle ID. Handle CloneView message. Handle CloneView message. Command sync. Handle CloneView message. There's no host here. Sync. Jesus Christ. So here init host CloneView. No, it has to happen afterwards. But I need to go over that again. Not doing a stream, but like with a fine-tooth comb, and I want to have the exact order of operations, and it needs to be able to handle any order of operations accurately and correctly under all circumstances, right? So everything needs to know what to do depending on the current state. So, for example, it knows if the message is coming from a host or from a guest, and it knows how many hosts and guests are connected. If there's 0 hosts, like, first of all, no message except from guests. Secondly, if there's more than one host, it shouldn't have the initial sync message. Hey, Shelby, how are you doing? And I might want to put that into a state machine. Those usually help with this kind of situation. But I also need to kind of rename a bunch of stuff because so many things have similar names now that are completely meaningless, right? Now the question is, do we have a sync state? No, obviously not. So when I load this, right? I am sending a sync. CloneView init, CloneView blip blip blip, send a message. But this is not correct. So at this point, is the puzzle just not finished loading yet? It is not. So we have to be careful. We're doing this too early. The puzzle is still loading at this point. One sec. Let me just kill the server for a second. Oh, I forget that the server also runs the web stuff. Shoot. So we can't... I might have to just kill the connection algorithms at the moment just to kind of make sure it works without a connection, right? Anyway, the local state gets loaded, but it happens much later. Why does it happen so much later? And why is this happening so early? Attach element. This attached. Connect. So we're doing this as early as possible. And we're not... So let me see. What other event handlers am I looking at? No, only act and message. Okay, so we probably want to look at start or puzzle loading done. Puzzle loading done. I don't remember this. Oh, okay. Dot on. Oh man, I need to document my own stuff sometimes. Play. So we start. So it's either start or loaded. Progress loaded. That's the one. I think that's what we want. So if we're here, we'll do a kind of this dot handle progress loaded. Don't even know where that should go. Handle puzzle selection. Show puzzle menu. Set puzzle. Dot handle progress loaded. Sync. So when this triggers, this is when we basically are ready to kind of update states, synchronize and whatnot, right? Now the thing is, do I know if I'm a host or not? Int host versus int guest. Options.host key. I kind of need to do it in here, don't I? Or it's time for me to kind of take this mess inside the start clone view and rip it out and pull it out. Because right now, I'm treating clone view as if it's like a little self-contained experiment. All right, I've started it this way. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to keep going this way for now. So here we're gonna do that, and then handle progress loaded is gonna be inside of here, like that. And then we'll have to figure out exactly where it needs to go later. Don't need that. Now options are getting passed in. Okay. Okay. So this way we can check. So when progress is loaded, this is not equals undefined. So if we have a host key, if host key, then we'll do a send sync. So whenever progress is loaded, we want to send a sync message from a host. And we got to figure out, yeah, on the server, we need to then distinguish different hosts, right? But this should have sent a sync message. We connect. Init host, handle progress loaded. Where does that go? Here. Then this hits send sync. Initial sync. Handle message sync. Sync. Handle message sync. So handle message sync doesn't do us any good over here. But this should have sent a sync, right? Send initial sync. If I refresh this. CloneView init. We have... No, oh my god. Wrong check. So if we have a host key here, we'll send a sync. And that is now synchronized. Now, the real complexity comes in when we have a second host. So this is another guest. All right, these are all guests. Was this the other host? No. Yeah, right now we just have, oh, this is the incognito one. Okay, that's good, that's good. So I want to do this, select all of these, and then I want to refresh here, and that works. And if I refresh here, that works. Now if I refresh here, that also works. But it doesn't work over here. That's a bit odd. That is a little odd. Handle progress loaded. Sync. Message sync. I'm getting tired, guys. I'm not gonna be able to finish this, but I feel like I made good progress. You know, I just need to. I probably need to sit back and just do a bunch of cleaning up and kind of make a little diagram and figure out exactly how it's working. I think the trickiest bit is to make it reliably keep state while also accepting updates to state readily without kind of hindrance, right? Like, I never want to be in a situation where you have a locked server where none of the hosts can update the state anymore. And we don't want to have a situation where anything's out of sync, right? And at the same time, I don't want to have to resynchronize hundreds of kilobytes of replay backing. Well, hundreds of kilobytes is a lot, but like, I can probably just push new state every 10 seconds or something from a host without too many problems. All right. So the host connects. The question is, so what are the things we need to handle? We have the sync, which resets the action. Okay. So handle CloneView on the server. Handle CloneView on the server. Handle CloneView message. That's no, that's this, right? I'm just gonna do a message.cmd instead. So we have the replay data. And then at that point, the actions should be blank. So the question is, are we gonna get things like going around in a loop, right? We don't want a host getting its own sync command. That's the other problem, right? Are we gonna... So let's say I do this. I'm gonna change that for, delete it, right? Now I'm gonna refresh. So we have catching up actions with the 4 deleted. But now the 4 is back. So probably what happens is when this thing finishes loading here, it's sending its own sync message. But it's also receiving a sync message, but I don't know if it's its own at this point. So the sync message, but the sync message I don't think gets sent to itself. So this will be the initial sync message, right? So maybe I can distinguish them. So I can do init on the server, initial sync. So I can do note initial sync, right? And then on the client, I can output that note where we're handling the message. Handle progress loaded, handle message sync. So if I do this, so I delete the, I delete the 4, refresh. Now, handle message sync, initial sync. Good. Now, if I refresh again, it blows up. Why? So, let's see. Init host, handle message sync. Init host, handle message sync. Init host, handle. So it's getting the sync message before handle progress loaded kicked in. That is a problem. And the problem is, well, actually, can we detect, replay, playing. The problem is, I don't think we can actually tell, like the replay playing we can tell while the replay is being replayed. But if this happens while the puzzle is still loading, we can't. So we need to basically wait. We need to wait. So we're gonna start out with this dot puzzle. You know what? If we could use current puzzle ID, right? We could just say current puzzle ID is undefined, right? And then we'll do when progress is loaded, we'll do this dot current puzzle ID equals get puzzle ID, right? And then here we can say handle message sync. We can say if this dot current puzzle ID is not equals undefined, find return, and we'll go this dot last sync equals MSG, right? And then here we can do all of this, and then we can do if this dot last sync console dot born last sync. So basically, we'll hold on to that first sync message. We can say, hey, we got a sync message, right? And now the question is, how do we decide which one to retrieve? Now that's something we need to do on the server. So on the server, we have to say, hey, if you are the only host, we're not even going to send you a sync message. The question is, do we want to sync first or sync second? Yeah, I think I need to kind of step back and kind of do this more cleanly. The problem is I don't want to rely on the client reporting to the server. So I don't want to say, oh, let's wait for the client to tell us what to do. We need to, on the server, we need to always know what to do. So it's, you know, so the initial sync happens here. And the initial sync should only happen if you're not the only host, right? So if ops.hostKey and host.length smaller or equal to 1, right? Then send initial sync, comma, first host. No, send initial sync, not first host, right? And we just indent that, put that there. So the only and first host should never get the initial sync then. It still got it though. Why? It said not first host. If host.length is smaller or equal to, so we know it's a host. Host.length, if it's equal to 1, we're fine. If it's equal to 0, we're fine. No, greater than 1. What am I doing? Greater than 1. Okay, so we didn't get a first host thing. So if I delete this now refresh. Why am I still do this? Clear 0. Why is it not stored. So if I go here, refresh this, it's like that. If I refresh this, it's like that. Why? Ah! Also CL0, that doesn't make any sense. Select 111. Clear 0. The 4 is back. Now it's gone again. Oh, I'm going crazy. I definitely need a little bit more insight into kind of what the local state is, and I need to potentially have a bit of a conflict resolution thing. To be honest, it should be quite straightforward. The first host gets dibs. So if there's no host and a host connects, it pushes its own state. Now, obviously, that's potentially a problem when multiple hosts get disconnected and a host that hasn't been connected in a long time connects. So of course it would be nicer if the host could kind of track what's... So maybe it has to be replay length after all. The thing is, I think replay length only ever grows because undos and so on. All right, so we probably want to sync by replay length. Sync per replay length. And so we don't have to decode the replay on the server. We'll just pass in the replay length. So let's see. I'm going to write this out. Step 1, connect and send. Because I'm thinking, can I save on pushing a replay on connection by basically saying, hey, my replay is this long, and the server can say, oh, your replay is longer than what I have. Please send me your replay, right? That way we could save one replay, but hosts shouldn't be reconnecting very often anyways. So I guess we can send replay. So on host, step 1, connect and send replay plus replay length. Step 2, so host. How am I gonna do this? 1 dot host. How about that? 2 dot server compare replay length. 3 server if replay is longer, update state and broadcast. 3A, 3B. If replay is shorter, send initial sync to new host. Or just broadcast. Actually, update state. If replay is longer, update state. Yeah, we don't actually need anything else, right? And then 4, broadcast sync. So the idea is we always broadcast the sync, and then on the coming back to the same host, although they shouldn't get their own sync, they should detect that there's no update to be had. And that's the other thing, right? We don't want to blindly replay the replay over and over and over. So even on the guests, to be honest, we don't want to... We have to control how often replays happen, right? Yeah, in fact, if the replay isn't longer, we only update state, right? And broadcast sync, because if there's no update to the state, then we don't need to broadcast sync, right? So, okay, we'll do 3A, and then we'll do 3B. If replay is shorter, is longer, slash newer, slash older, send initial sync to new host. So then we just send a sync only to this particular host and tell this host to update. And I think that's kind of all we need to do in this situation. All right, I'm getting super tired. It's super late. I'm gonna call it an end to the stream here today. I'm happy with the progress. I kind of see an end in sight. I'm really happy how easy the puzzle swapping works. Obviously, the user interface, I need to figure something out. How am I going to get a list of puzzles in there? I might literally just hard code it for the stream, or have it something that that we can set ahead of time. Especially, in fact, it would be interesting to have the puzzle list synced as well. Sync puzzle list to server. So, because that means somebody else could connect, inject the puzzle list, and then later on the actual host could connect, and then just have the puzzle list, right? All right, clean up host/guest syncing during reconnects. And I think having a, oh yeah, and then we'll do, regular sync update from host every 30 seconds, something like that, so that we don't have a longer and longer list of actions that we're just posting to new connecting guests, right? So then every time we sync that, you know, we need to clean up some terminology so I don't get so confused in my head. But I think when a guest connects, we'll just get the current sync data. So we don't actually have to do broadcast syncs at all anymore. We do the broadcast actions, but we don't really need to. We never need to do a broadcast sync, right? The guest should never really go out of sync. And if they do go out of sync, the worst case scenario is just refresh them and they'll be back in sync, right? The thing is, the guest cannot act, otherwise it'll be a mess, right? Now for the stream, that's not really a problem because it'll be, you know, there's no user interface on those engines. And oh yeah, and we need to sync some other things. Correctly trigger conflict checker on actions. Decide what to do about final dialogue. Because one of the issues with the final dialogues is that we can't press the OK button on OBS. So we might want to pop the dialogue, but it also means the host needs to be able to control that. Host needs control. So we might want to trigger the dialogue, but we also need to then close the dialogue from some action on the host side. All right, I don't think there's going to be any code update today that I'm pushing from this. This needs to be much cleaner before I can actually deploy it. But I'm going to play today's gas just to keep myself sane. I'm going to play it on my local version, so it's going to be a little bit of mini testing just to make sure I didn't completely destroy everything. All right, that's today's gas. Looks like a normal Sudoku. No, it's anti-queen. Cells by chess. Queen's move cannot contain 5. Wait, what? Oh, cannot both contain 5. No diagonal of any length contain more than 1 5. Okay. So these are our 5s, right? And that means these digits cannot be 5. Well, these can't be 5. This can't be 5. That can't be 5. That can't be 5. Because obviously normal Sudoku rules also apply. These can't be 5. No 5. Diagonals. Boom, 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 and boom, boom, and boom, 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 boom. And I think that is all the cells that can't be 5, right? So there's a 5 here, 5 here. Now if there's a 5 here, that means there's no 5 here. If 5 here, there's no 5 here. That means that's got to be a 5. Which means these can't be 5, and that can't be 5, and that can't be 5, and that's obviously not a 5. Alright, that puts a 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. And that rule basically just gave us all the 5s, right? That's really all it did. So I'm guessing it's just, I don't know, I'm not too fond of puzzles where, you know, it's like a 9-cell. I understand the 9-cell thermal for like a coloring puzzle, but otherwise it's just givens. Just give me the givens. If you want to give me givens, give me givens. Right? There's nothing else to it. There's no magic to it. 6s, 7s, 8s. I mean, I guess I understand that aesthetically it is nicer to have your givens given to you in a different way than the traditional given, if you know what I mean. But other than that, it will be what it will be. It will be ising what it will be. Oh, what we got here? 6 and 8, huh? Ah, I see. Oh, no. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. 8, 9, huh? Alright. And then we have 3 more. 2 and 4. 4. Give us this 4, which gives us this 4. Which gives us no more 4s. Alright. 3 missing here. 2, 3, and 9. 9, 2. And then this one is a 5. Nope. 7. I'm just guessing now. 1, 2, 6, and a 1, a 3, a 8, and 9. Alright. 3 digits missing out of this row. 3, 4, and 9. That's a 3. That's a 4. That's a 9. Not a 4. These two are from 1, 2, and 6. Alright. What else? 2, 6, and 7. Alright. 2, 6 pair. That makes this a 1. It resolves a bunch of little guys down here. A bunch of guys up here. And that's 3, 8, 9. Which are resolved. 8 and 3. And then over here we have an 8 here and a 6 here. And this should be a 2. And we're missing 9 and 7. It's resolved. That's a 4. I guess that pencil mark told us that. All right. No one's up here. And then we're missing 2 and 7. 7, 2, 6, 7. All right. 3 goes down here. What are the 2 missing here? 3 and 6, which aren't resolved. Up here, what's missing? 8 and 9, and they are resolved. Down here we have 3 and 8. I think those are resolved. And then here we have 2 and 6. 6 and 3. 4, 3. That is... How many hats do I get? 2 hats. Woohoo! All right. That's it. My source getting throaty. Yeah, my source getting throaty. Thanks for hanging out. This CloneView tool is hopefully going to be used for the SudokuCon live stream in 2 weeks, so keep an eye out for that. 24-hour live stream. Very excited. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out, and take care. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.